It was the morning of April 29 when I prepared to depart for Lauderdale Executive Airport with final destination the island of Antigua in the Eastern Caribbean. The flight plan, 1,170 nautical miles, would take me to Providenciales for a fuel stop, San Juan, Puerto Rico for another fuel stop, and overnight stay. I'm always excited to see Puerto Rico's coast. After all, I was born and raised in the island, but it was truly phenomenal to see it after a long day of flying in a single-engine piston aircraft. The morning of April 30th, I got ready for my next and final leg to Antigua. I was just about to start the engine when I got a call to inform me that the cargo flight transporting liquid helium had been canceled until further notice. I waited a whole week until the morning of Friday, May 8th. I got a low voltage warning immediately after takeoff and decided to return to the airport to have the problem looked at by a mechanic. A loose alternator wire was causing the problem. I was quickly back in the air and on my way to Antigua. I finally made it there. I parked the airplane, offloaded my tools, and went to the hospital. The magnet was at level 0.42%, and yes, we still have magnetic field. But the cold head sounded horrible. I truly believe the situation could not get any worse as I prepared to do a bottom fill. Bursting disc in hand, in case of a quench, the first doer went in, as did the second one. Almost done with the second doer, the cold head took a turn for the worse. Fighting against high pressure on the magnet and doers that have been sitting in my hand for 2 weeks, we got the magnet from 0.42 to 42%. Enough for that day. There was a new cold head on site as well as all the tools required to do the job. So we decided to return to the hospital early next morning. The cold head was installed, high pressure lines purged, and shortly thereafter the magnet was recondensing. We even decided to run a scan because the system had been down since February 28 due to the cold head and another minor issue we managed to resolve. The head phantom looked okay, and the cold head was doing its job. Monday, May the 11th. Time to say goodbye and head back to Puerto Rico. Not one passenger at the airport, with the exception granted to me by the Civil Aviation of Antigua and the Ministry of Health. I was shocked to see such a busy summer destination looking like a ghost town. A changing world after COVID-19 pandemic for sure. Flying back to San Juan, Puerto Rico, I had great weather and a 30-knot tailwind now pushing me back to San Juan in less than 2 hours. Next morning, back to Fort Lauderdale with a last refueling stop at Exuma, Bahamas. After 4.5 hours of flight and shortly before starting my descent, the airplane started shaking and I knew I had an engine problem. Seemed like piston number 4 had either a compression, fuel, or ignition problem. I landed safely in Exuma, refueled, and resolved the problem. Turned out I had a bad spark plug. Definitely not a good idea to do my 2 hours of flight over water at night with possibly an unresolved engine problem, so I decided to wait for daylight. The airport staff at Exuma treated me like a king. Bahamian people are always so hospitable and comforting. That night I slept on an x-ray machine. How ironic is that? Early morning, sun up, wheels up, voice in my head, proceed with caution, so I did. Landed safely in Fort Lauderdale, and I did not use any of my safety gear, which is the best part of the whole story.